Good morning. I'm like right on time almost. I'm like a minute early. It's like fashionably early. Is that such a thing? Would fashionably early be like 5 minutes before? I feel like any early is not fashionable. Right? I don't know. Anyway, now it's 7 o'clock. So now I'm on time. Here's a paper today. Came by itself, the Inquirer, in a clear plastic, as you see, an orange plastic. Looked outside. After I went and got this, I kind of turned around immediately. Somebody else drove by, tossed the Times under the driveway. So I'd go back out and get that. But for our purposes, on February 25th, 2021, Thursday, we got what we need right here. So, all right, let's go. Let's separate sections. I got a busy morning, so I'm gonna try to just plow through. But give it due consideration within reason. Be efficient and effective. Separate sections. Did you get your paper? Get it out. Whether you got the orange plastic, clear plastic, blue plastic, get your paper. Let's get ready to take it out of the plastic, separate the sections, and read it together. On. Oh! Huh. Surprise, surprise! Today, look at this. This is true surprise. You're seeing genuine surprise. I got a daily news included with my Inky. You know, sometimes they don't get the addresses straight. And then you get a surprise paper. So here's the surprise daily news we have today. In addition to the Inquirer, in addition to the Times coming in a separate plastic, in addition to the Delco Times. Well, I am the newspaper guy. I mean, it's on brand, right? So we're going to put aside the surprise paper and the Delco Times, of course, and we're going to just dig into this guy. It's kind of a nice little kind of happy Thursday from the delivery people. Separate sections. Here's your front page today. Here comes your region coming at you. Here's your region today coming at you. Now remember, this is the first time I'm seeing each of these front pages too. So as I show them to you in this view, I'm scanning. I'm doing my own little scan. Kind of taking in what I might want to spend more time on when we get to that section. I'm just showing you kind of how the program works. That's kind of how my thought process goes in real time. We got a food and dining sandwich. Food and dining section. I said sandwich because you'll see why. It's about chicken sandwiches, and it's distracted by the word sandwich. Typically, we skip this section. Those avid followers of my channel, we skip the food and dining, but I do like chicken sandwiches, and I did see that McDonald's has released a brand new chicken sandwich. So it seems topical, so I might peruse that. Also today, another little surprise, people who get the Inquirer, there's a puzzle section today. If you like crosswords, cryptograms, word seek, find the difference, those kind of things, you got a whole section of puzzles here you can check out. Oh, special guest. Hey. Hi. Say hi to the crew. Say hi to the audience. Hello, audience.
I love you.
Love it, babe. Have a great day. Hey, you look great. All right. See. You want to sit down here for a little bit? Daddy can get through the sections. I got your monster truck, guys. I learned it's called Blaze. Was it frozen? Oh no. It's called Blazing the Monster Machines. I learned. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out, but that's what it is. Sports. The multitask here. I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on with this other monitor while I dabble into sports, because that's what we do. We go right to sports. That's our routine. Flyers won last night. THRU, he looked good, didn't he? Anybody who watched the game locally, or even in New York, he was. I saw afterwards that he said he wasn't feeling that great or something. But even in your headline here, I mean, they get it. Is this Charchidi? Yeah, Charchidi. Sam Charchidi gets it. THRU's 3 assists spark win. Yeah, 3 assists coming off the COVID list. Since their schedule has been so spread out because of 4 coronavirus-caused postponements, the Flyers' recent stretch of poor play has not been magnified. But they entered Wednesday, having quietly lost 4 of their last 5 games and needing a win to climb back into an East Division playoff spot. They went out and, sparked by the return of Captain Claude Giroux, made that happen at the Wells Fargo Center. He was playing his first game since coming off the 14-day quarantine. Don't entirely quote me on this, but I will say, if I recall correctly, the Flyers are 9-1-1, something like that, when not playing the Bruins. Otherwise, we're going to skip to the standings. We're going to kind of go out of order because I want to see. Otherwise, the record is 9-4-3. So, if that's interesting to you, then, find it interesting. If not, sorry. Here we go. Is Lowry the missing piece? Keith Pompey. If he opts to leave the Raptors and a deal is made, he would give the Sixers needed toughness. A couple of reads ago, we said that was kind of one of the rumors was that Lowry was one of the options there to bolster the bench, bolster the team generally. Kyle Lowry will be a perfect fit for the 76ers. The same can be said about the Miami Heat. The best spot for the Philly native and Toronto Raptors point guard, however, is the Los Angeles Clippers. According to sources, those 3 teams could become potential trade destinations for the Cardinal Doherty High School and Villanova standout. That is, of course, if Lowry opts to not finish the season with the Raptors. It's a lot of ifs, aren't you saying? A lot of variables there. A lot of different destinations for Mr. Lowry. We'll find out. What about the trade deadline? Here we go. Trade deadline, March 25th. So, a month from today, if I'm doing my math correctly. Let's go to the top of the page. Look at another Hayes kind of incendiary piece. Odubel Herrera shouldn't play here again. This is his take on the Phillies giving Odubel another shot in an outfield position after all his kind of struggles off the field. It's like, he's citing the first sentence, so I'm going to guess is a report, pulling a quote from a report of the incident that Odubel was involved in. Quote, handprint markings on his girlfriend's neck, unquote. I can't get past it, says Marcus Hayes. So he's going to go into why I'm sure that incident should disqualify Odubel from another shot at the big leagues. Go on Inquirer.com to read that take. The jump to that take is Herrera Herrera's sin should not be forgiven. That's like the interior headline for the continuation of that front page piece. I think Doc Rivers, he wished Tiger Woods well. That's the coach of the Sixers. He said he means a lot to a lot of people for a lot more than just sports. I don't know how many bullets this guy can take, but he's a tough kid, always has been. I just want to send that out. I don't know. I would refrain from the bullets analogy, but I get what he's saying. I just stay away from bullets generally. Yeah, so the Montreal Canadiens fired the coach, Julien. After a 1 week break in their schedule, the Canadiens lost 3 in a row. They've lost 5 of 6 and 6 of 8 since a strong start. I'm going to have to abandon the efforts to try to get this TV to work or my monitor to work. Sometimes I have like connection issues. This iMac's an 09, so it's still working. It's still a workhorse, but it lags slightly, and sometimes it loses the Wi-Fi connection. All right, standings. Like I said, Flyers are 9-4-3 after the winning last night against the Rangers. They'll play tomorrow. I lied. Saturday, 1 o'clock against the Sabres. Sixers will play tonight against the Mavericks, who are 15-5 in the Southwest Division. Dallas. Looks like the sheriff who's investigating Woods' accident, who you may have already seen this news, saying it was purely an accident. So, appear to rule out any potential criminal charges, even as authorities were still investigating. This is what the Los Angeles County Sheriff said. Weather. Another sun. Whoa. Another sun. High of 47. Soak it in. It always goes down smooth. Right. Oh, look. We got a connection. Monster trucks, monster machines, monster objects. Here it is. Today's sunset, 5:49, creeping into the 5:50 territory on your way to 6 p.m. You know, one day we'll be sitting here together and we'll say like 7 o'clock or something. We'll be like, whoa. Remember those days when it was like 4:30? You know, we'll have those memories together. All right. There's a bit more in sports, but I'm going to move from it. I mean, I would read this entire Lowry piece. That's what I'll do probably when I have my own time. And I'll revisit the recap of the Flyers. Flyers win. They moved from 5th place to 3rd place in the East with win. Just a parting shot. Did you want to look at these chicken sandwiches together? Did you want to look at the sandwiches? You want to look at the Sambos? Or? Although, now that I'm like spending more time kind of like investigating what it is the article's about, it is about vegan options instead of chicken. But why does it say fried chicken sandwiches from the Red Crest Fried Chicken and Nashville Hot Chicken from Algorithm Restaurants? Is that because they're just calling it chicken, but really it's vegan food? You don't need to eat a meal to find a crispy fried chicken. You don't need to eat meat, to find a crispy fried chicken sandwich in Philly. Across the city, vegan versions come in all sorts of forms, from Nashville style dripping with hot sauce to classic buttermilk layered with lettuce, tomato, onion, and a tangy pickle crunch. And the chicken itself is equally diverse: soy, seitan, mushrooms. What makes the best vegan fried chicken? I'm going to let you decide what that answer is because I don't want any of these. I mean, no offense to the vegan fried quote chicken sandwiches, but I'm not going to have one. I'm going to have a regular chicken sandwich. But for those that choose not to eat meat or, can't eat meat for whatever dietary reasons, no offense, you got options. Go to Inquirer.com. Look at all these chicken sandwiches, vegan chicken sandwiches, and find out where you might want to go, and then go there safely with a mask on, and maybe sit outside underneath the heat lamp and eat yourself a vegetable sandwich. But I'm not going to read any more of the food and dining because we don't usually. We skip past it. I was just curious about the front page because of all those, what I thought were chicken sandwiches. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to move to the region too, Grace. I totally get it. We got to move to the region. See what's going on in the region today, everyone? What's happening in the region? I expect delayed results in the May primary. Once again, PA counties will not be allowed to process mail ballots early. Election officials can't predict how many people will vote by mail. So make sure you do register if you haven't, or you complete your mail-in ballot registration for the May primaries. I know it's not as sexy as a general election, but important for you to make your voice heard in those elections, just as it is in November. So do that, but realize that the results, like Pennsylvania results in the last general election, will be late coming in, it appears. Here's a look of Maria Panaritas, who often takes kind of like a hard looks, close looks at a local kind of, people struggling, people thriving, whatever. She looks like she's taking a look today at a Lansdale man who makes gym mats, having a rough go. His name is Bob Mancino. You can't catch a break, according to Maria. First, the U.S. gym mat producer was slammed by the coronavirus shutdowns of schools and gyms, his wholesale market. Then he was slammed by Amazon and Walmart selling Chinese-made mats for cheap to parents stuck at home with their kids. It's no exaggeration to say that the global economy has long been merciless to U.S. manufacturing. But imagine being a survivor through 2020 who then gets hit hard by COVID-19, only to be beaten to a pulp by retailer behemoths serving up the junk food spoils of offshore manufacturing. She likes to throw in a little bit of hyperbole every now and again. I mean, I don't know. She just likes to kind of go with the most severe descriptor. It's okay. I mean, I think that's her angle. Helen Hubinez, who kind of has a similar kind of column style in terms of the things that she investigates, the analysis that she provides, she also kind of has that vibe, which I like. It's a different type of, different type of style, which lends the newspaper diversity of reads. So I'm all for it. So if you want to read more about Bob and his struggles with his gym mat business and how apparently him and his local company, which was founded by his late father in 66, are like the Karate Kid. They keep being hit by cheap shots when there's no crane kick to save the day. Little Cobra Kai reference slightly there. You can go on Inquirer.com and see, what spurred her to cover this story, for one, focus solely on this man's business, and maybe how that expands to others that are in the similar straits. Inquirer.com. PA, New Jersey are flattening the curve. More than 1.2 million people have been fully vaccinated in both states. What's the total population of those two states, though? I wonder. Maybe we'll find that on B8. But for now, we're going to move. Okay. School board taking heat over comments. I wonder if this is an extension of that story we read a couple weeks ago of their change in comment policy over at the Philadelphia School Board. People were upset, felt that they were silencing the public with their new policy. limiting the time the cook could speak, limiting the time of public comment, the public comment session generally. What is the lead here? The Philadelphia School Board's new policy limiting public speakers at its meetings violates state law and could expose the district to a lawsuit, the American Civil Liberties Union says. In a February 9th letter to the school board, lawyers for the group said they had fielded complaints from district residents about the policy. See? They stopped short of pledging a lawsuit, but suggested precedents regarding the state's open meetings law would be in their favor. Quote, it's perfectly understandable for the school district to try to get some order and organize meetings and perhaps make them a little less burdensome in some ways. But you can't do that by rationing people's participation. ACLU Pennsylvania Deputy Legal Director Mary Catherine Roper said in an interview, we value participatory democracy. The board meetings are where decisions are made. It's where people are entitled to have their voices heard. The pushback came after the board last month revamped its commenting policy that previously allowed for an unlimited number of members of the public to speak at meetings. The new policy limited the number of available slots and shortened their allotted time. As I said, from reading the news and remembering. Here's Joyce Wilkerson. She's the board's president here. They got a picture of her. She have a quote here, by chance? To pull out the caption here is that she said the policy's intent is to actually amplify new voices. Just relying exclusively on those people who speak out at board meetings has not been as effective as we need it to be to make decisions as a board, she said. I want to read more about that. It's Kristen A. Graham today. Kristen A. Graham covers Philadelphia school system. So she got a B2 piece today. Another young person killed, 16-year-old Khalif Mirik, a junior at South Philadelphia High School, shot outside of a 7-Eleven in Southwest Philly. He was shot to death after another customer took his glance to be a sign of disrespect. Oh, man. Police are searching for a gunman who they say killed a 16-year-old outside a 7-Eleven, Southwest Philly, last week because a teen looked at him in a way that made him feel disrespected. What are you looking at? Police say the man asked the teen when the two encountered each other outside the store. What are you looking at? Khalif Mirik responded, according to his family. The man, believed to be in his mid-20s, waited outside for the teen to leave the store and then shot him in the chest. Quote, he killed a kid that didn't deserve that, Crystal Boyce said to the shooter, who's the grandmother of Mr. Mirik. She and her husband raised Khalif and his 3 younger siblings in their South Philly home. He loved rap music, drawing, and was learning how to print images on T-shirts. Here he is. Shot over a glance. Oh, yeah. I think that's going to sadly segue us into... Oh, no, it's not. I was going to get to the OBITS, but then I realized, wait. We got Carolyn to get to first. Carolyn. Carolyn's your advice columnist. She's going to tell you, hey, do you have an issue similar to the issue that I'm about to provide advice on? Your daughter and your best friend take a break, whatever that means. Well, if so, you're about to find out how to address that situation in your own life. This week, our daughter informed us that she and her bestie since kindergarten are taking a break. That happens, like friends take breaks. Sure, I don't know. Depending off of your best buddy, you're like, hey, I need a breather. This girl has been very close to her family, and we had gotten to know her as well. I had noticed them growing apart earlier, but due to some middle school drama, I guess they have decided they need some space. I feel like the parent who misses their kid's romantic partner after they split. But I have not told her that. P.S. I do want to talk to her to make sure there's no, quote, mean girl stuff going on, but do I just need to accept this as part of the growing pains of having an almost teenager? Anyone out there experience, like, their kids' friends, like, drifting apart? Or like they decide, hey, right now it's not a good time for me to hang out with you for whatever reason, and you feel like especially upset about it. Well, here's how you can maybe address that or approach that. Carolyn says, yeah, I go one step further and say it's part of the pains of sharing a life with other people who all have the right to choose their own companions. You said it yourself. A no longer almost teenager may someday break up with a romantic partner you have come to see as part of your family. All you can do is respect boundaries and take the loss. Nothing says, by the way, that you can't remain friends with her parents. If I'm reading correctly, that you mean what you mean by, quote, gotten to know her family. It might seem a little awkward, but you can get through it if there's buy-in. It would be good for the girls to see, too, that you can respect their decision fully and still not carry their grudges into the adult friendships. As for the, quote, make sure there's no mean girl stuff going on, 2 thoughts. 1, ask, don't tell. I imagine this is hard for you. I imagine this is hard for you two. Is everyone being civil? And 2, please, let's retire mean girls. I won't pretend to know what data shows at the macro level, but on the micro, person-to-person level, any given boy can fire off social aggression as nasty as any I've ever heard from a girl. And I think all kids benefit from our treating them, male or female, even in our casual language choices, as individuals versus members of a demographic group. This is not to single you out, just borrowing you to make a larger point that's been bugging me a lot lately. In fact, if I have any more women tell me how lucky I am to have all boys because girls are awful / difficult / etc., then I am going to make a large freaking scene. Clearly, Carolyn, she had a little bit of something up there. She's like, ooh, now's the time. Now is a perfect time for me to be like, ah! Stop getting on my case about having boys. Or tell me how lucky I am. Which conversely kind of insults girls. I get her point. Implicitly insulting girls. That comment. I have 2 girls, so I hope it's not as bad as she's making it out to be, but I have a feeling that it might be. What do you think about that answer? Is that good for you? If you have girls and or boys or friends breaking up? If it didn't work out for you, totally understandable. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe you'll get a good scope today. Maybe we'll get a good scope for Scorpios. I want to go through the 5-star days because I don't, as you know, I don't read all the scopes. I just read Scorpio scope. See if it's bogus or not. But I can give you a 5-star day recap. So if you were a Aquarius, Pisces, or a Virgo, you got 5 stars today. Whatever that means to you, you got 5 stars. Scorpio has 4. It says, career prospects are both interesting and challenging. Innovate. Be creative. Combine business with pleasure. Listen carefully to others. Today indicates that valuable information is offered during social situations and at Zoom meetings. Sincerity is the best form of communication. Do I seem sincere? I truly am sincere about this read. I truly mean this read, and I want everyone to know that I feel deeply about the read. Other parts of this don't seem totally bogus, though. I'm okay with this scope. Thank you, Madeline Aslan, for that today. I will take a little bit of that to heart and contemplate. Now, the next special section of our read is a quieter section, except for raspberries from the corner over here, is a quick look at those that went before us that have passed on. A quick rest in peace. All these folks. We just take time to look at their faces, you know. I don't think we as a people, and this is just a little drip in the bucket of attempting to cause a ripple across society of getting people to see the regular folks who passed and say, hey, take a moment for them. They lived eventful, fulfilling, hopefully, lives and impacted many others, just like the famous people who get in car crashes and talk on the radio. You know, not that Tiger Woods passed, but I'm just making a quick connection, quick reference here. You obviously can't give them the scope of coverage that you give a famous person who passes or gets into an accident, but you can say, let's give them a minute to just look at them and say hi. Hi and bye. Stephanie Pisano, she's a former owner of Incognito Your Body salon in Philadelphia and Twisted European Bakery in Bluffton, South Carolina. She passed away February 9th while visiting with the Great Bahama Island with her loving companion Jerry. Wow. What happened to her on the island there? She was 59 when she passed. Jeez. She leaves an incredible legacy for all to use as an example to follow. One of her favorite sayings was, always live in gratitude and abundance. So she wasn't a fan of moderation. Reba Friedman, rest in peace. Edward Berger, age 60. Kevin Higgins, leukemia. 60 years old, that's young. That's young. Here he is. He loved reading the newspaper. A kindred spirit. He loved reading the newspaper, enjoying the view of his backyard from his treehouse, and traveling with his daughters to 6 continents and dozens of countries. He loved his community and succeeded his wife, Anne Michelle, as commissioner of Radnor Township. He graduated from Georgetown in 82. Rest in peace, George. I hope to carry on some of your legacy and your hobbies through this channel. You know, if you're out there, this one's for you. A couple other people here that you can check out, I guess, on the op-ed section of Inquirer.com. But you have Joan McMahon. She was 72. Dolores Danielle. She had been married for 67 years. Everyone, peace, calmness. Okay, there's your region for today. All right. Now we move on to Grace. We're going to move on to the front section, sweetie. Do you want to come up for the front section part? All right. Hang on one second. I want to come up for the front section. Come on over here. Yeah, with Daddy. Yeah. Yeah. It's above the fold piece. About 24 hours, a clinic outpaced the city. As the clock passed noon on Saturday and the once hours-long line of Philadelphians eager for the coronavirus vaccine dwindled to a few people, Alice Stanford looked around the Leah Center, overwhelmed with joy and exhaustion. We did it, the physician said to herself. Over 24 hours, Stanford and a group of healthcare providers at the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium vaccinated nearly 4,000 people on their own, surpassing the city's daily vaccination average this month of 3,500 first doses per day. So a volunteer clinic was able to vaccinate more people than a city-run operation? Shocker. Read more about that. I don't want to judge, but read more about that situation. And that's it. Ellie Rushing, Una Gooden-Smith, and Anna Orso piece. Top of the fold. Center spread is a picture of the Phillies at spring training. Something going on with this DeJoy guy, the Postmaster General. He says he's standing by a push for slower mail, which seems pretty counterintuitive. The White House moved Wednesday toward reasserting control of the U.S. Postal Service, even as its Republican Postmaster General defiantly told Congress he would press forward with plans to raise prices and slow the mail, brushing off calls for him to resign. Spitting on me again? Spitting on Daddy again. Yeah, I don't know what would motivate someone to want to have it take longer to deliver your mail. Why would that be one of your goals? Cost savings, perhaps, but again, read more about that. That's a Washington Post piece. This looks to have been reprinted here in the Inquirer. Yes. I know. We got your monster machines on here. There you go. You want to see that walk up? You want to see that walk up clinic stats in a graph? I do. I'll show it to you real fast. Here's the stats for that clinic walk up. You can see it, okay? There you go. Okay. Moving on. All right, Grace. I'm going to flip to page A5, A6, A7. Pfizer vaccine shines in real-world tests. The study of recipients in Israel found that the shots were effective, even after a single dose. Good news for another vaccine coming on the market. I kind of skipped through this A1 thing on marijuana in Pennsylvania gets Republican backing. Erie senator's measure marks the first time a state GOP legislator endorsed a plan to legalize cannabis in the state. This person who is supporting that is Senator Dan Laughlin. Said the proposal is, quote, just following the will of the people. So, he says, Pennsylvania has virtually already legalized marijuana through the medical program. All you have to say is that you have a bad back and you're in. This bill simply recognizes reality. He makes a fair point. If it's that easy to get a card, so New Jersey just did it. All the states are doing it. It's almost like either you ride the tidal wave or you get washed away with it. So we'll see how that goes. Follow that story, Inquirer.com, and just generally, it's going to be big news if PA ever moves in that same direction to legalize. Business inset here. But before we get to that, Mayor Cuomo gave a kiss to an ex-aide. Lindsey Bowen says the New York governor sexually harassed her. And ever since he was like the example of corona response, he's kind of taken a dive with his nursing home controversy and now someone's saying he kissed her without her permission. He would go out of his way, quote, to touch me in my lower back, arms and legs. And he compared her to one of his rumored ex-girlfriends, and once remarked they should play strip poker. He also once kissed her on the lips without consent. That's an Associated Press piece. Marina Villanueva. back to the business inset. Something about skiing, something about electric bills, comparing them to Texas-sized bills and whether or not you might get one. Many customers are unaware they sign up for a variable rate until it's too late. Here's how to check. So if you don't know what kind of charging sort of system you set up, you sign up for yourself for your electric, go on Inquirer.com, see Andrew Maycuth's piece, and you can learn a little bit about how to discover that. I saw somebody yesterday too on Twitter complaining about GameStop CEO getting about $30 million for leaving the CFO for leaving the company. And some people were like, really? Like, how can he be taking that much money out? Even though, aside from that big story about the Reddit bump and the Reddit surge in GameStop stock, the company really isn't doing that well. So that's a Bloomberg News reprint. Anders Mielen, if you want to dig into the CFO, Jim Bell, who's being pushed out after less than 2 years on the job. He'll get $15.8 million when he departs. Yeah, that must be nice, right? Hey, we don't really want you here anymore. If you've been here for 2 years, you've kind of not really done much. But here's 16 mil, for your time. And 15, where's the other 15 coming from? I guess the stock holdings. Entitles him to $2.8 million in severance and an immediate payout of restricted shares worth $13 million. All right, Grace. We made it to the last 2 pages here. We got to get going. We got to finish her up with today's letter. Who's going to be today's letter, Grace? Let's read the options, the choices. Alden Fairchild, high school senior in Morristown. That is already top of the list. He goes an ode to snow days. Ed Statilia, GOP's false outcry of deficit spending. Barry Eckhorn out of Westchester, DEP grants for fast chargers. All right, I'm going to have you go crawl around a little bit. Alan Gardner out of Blackwood. The big lie continues to be told. And then lastly, Dr. Dennis Walter Smith, Seneca Falls, New York, a profound lack of leadership. I'm going to go to our student here. I got to read, when a young high school student gets his letter published in the Inquirer, I got to give him a little bit of love. Aiden Fairchild, let's go. Ode to Snow Days. I am not one to defend tradition, especially those that serve little to no purpose. However, I will be remiss if I simply watched as snow days become yet another hapless casualty of the coronavirus. As we progress into our digital world, we are beginning to reduce human habits into information. Complex actions and feelings are becoming nothing more than statistics. Some have found that it's quite easy to get caught up in crunching the numbers, but it's important to respect the underlying complexity that we are beginning to ignore. If we approach snow days with this new digital mindset, then we can see how they may fade from existence. However, I feel that it will be unfair to relegate the benefits of snow days to their objective advantages. I found that no statistic can convey the relief one feels when waking up to that beautiful blanket of snow and realizing that for one consolidated moment, the stress of daily life may fade. In that moment, there is peace, and I'm able to tell myself that everything will be okay. There's a childlike innocence to that reprieve, and I feel that we're all able to stop pretending as if we're adults as we enjoy the bliss of the weather. While I can see the intelligence behind outmoding a classic American tradition, I do not see the wisdom in this course of action. Snow days will forever hold a tender place in my heart, and I will be sorry to see them go. Well done, Mr. Fairchild, right? What a moving piece. Young kid. Senior, 17, 18? Fantastic. And it also gives me hope, as, a little bit biased, let's face it, towards, the newspaper, paper news. young kids are still wanting to write letters in. They're still saying, I'm going to take the time to draft up an email and send it into my paper of record in the city. So, well done, sir. And lastly, I'm just going to show you some featured op-eds today. Don't censure Pat Toomey for his impeachment vote. That's Craig Snyder, CEO of Indigo Global, a business consulting firm. Funding is more than promises. That's Deanna Burney, served as a principal at the elementary, middle, and high school levels in the school district of Philly and CEO of Leading by Learning. While awaiting federal help, we also need to act now to equitably support school children locally. I'm interested in that piece. I will be reading that. And then the last op-ed feature today is Financial Institutions Should Repair Trust Gap with Black Communities by Matthew Jeffrey Vigari, who is a writer and economics researcher who previously worked for the city of Philadelphia as a policy associate. Excuse me. There's his piece. Okay, go on Inquirer.com. Go to the opinion section if you'd like to read more about that. But for now, we got to finish up. This is a 46-minute read today, so I got to get going. I appreciate everybody's time in joining me today. I hope you did also enjoy the read. And, peruse Inquirer.com if you want to follow up on some of those pieces. I do suggest that. I try to give the highlights, but by no means is it fully contextualized. I can't read every article that I throw out there. So, I try to give you some snippets, let you get a sense of what's in the newspaper today, and then you can always venture to the interweb to read more. Until tomorrow, have a great day. If you can get outside, enjoy the sun, and see you mañana.